clay tablet from Sumerian, number 19377, held in the British Museum. They call it tablet seal impression. Clay tablet 3, tablet of a smith about Hab, found in Iraq. Materials clay. So these tablets are multi-dimensional. You can look at them from all angles and see different parts of the story. Cuneiform script apparently, however none of the letters seem to be repeating. So let's go in deeper. We're going to start down halfway down the road. Is that we are seeing a being here. There's his nose, there's his lip, there's his mouth, his chin, and his eyes here. And that is the hominid on Earth that the Anunnaki decided to mix its DNA with, create a slave race. In other words, that is our ancestor. We can see here that these fingers are putting a pine tree in his mouth. I'll tip it over so we can see that. And you can see the pine tree. Here's the pine tree being placed in his mouth. That represents an increase in the pineal gland so that we respond better to herbs and oils and can increase our consciousness so that we can be better workers. So if we move down this tablet, away from this hominid, we find a bit of a story. But this hominid is represented here by this face, and out of his mouth is coming fire, and there's smoke. And the fire and the smoke is going on top of this rabbit being, which is Ra. And Ra, there's his ear, his mouth, his nose. The rabbit being Ra is the builder of the pyramids. There's this pyramid there. There's another representation of the pyramid there. And it shows the hominid DNA hybrid with the Anunnaki attacking the Ra being, builder of the pyramids, to become the ruler of the earth. As we move up here, we can see that this person here, with his arm out and his head's here, he has a reproductive organ here because he's been given a woman to reproduce with so that they can be self-replicating robots, if you will. A biological entity that works for you, that feeds itself and reproduces itself. There's a lot more to read in there, but this is the broad overview of this tablet. The Anunnaki then gave mankind the ability and instructions to build castles. There's the flag at the top. And gave him kingship. There's the crown. So mankind, after defeating the Ra being, was now able to have kingship, because we didn't have a good time before we were upgraded. What we see here is the being, which we would call a god being, and here is a man looking at the god being, but the god being is fading away, which shows us that the man is losing faith in his god, and as a result of that, mankind gets punished with a giant wave over everything. This is the wave going over buildings, going over the landscape to wipe out man. There's a lot more to this tablet. I said I'd go to the beginning. We'll have a look at that. So here's the beginning of the tablet. Here we see a volcano on its side of it. putting out smoke, because that is on Nibiru. And they Enki used the volcanoes to see if he could resaturate their atmosphere so that the heat stayed on the planet. Blowing up the volcanoes did not work, and Enki had to get in his spaceship here and flee. There's him taking off. He had to flee Nibiru because he was about to be arrested for sedition. No one gave him authority to blow the volcanoes up. He went to the mythical planet of Earth and started putting down his sensors from his spaceship. Looking, there's his spaceship, and there's another sensor. He went with a crew. He's looking for gold on the planet because he believes that that is the resource that if he atomizes it and puts it in the atmosphere at Nibiru, it'll solve the problem of their atmosphere becoming thinner. He discovered a lot of gold through his sensors in the water and the land, so he's coming down to land his spaceship. Unfortunately, he did not take into account, because he was so excited, he did not take into account the thinner atmosphere of Earth. His ship nearly burnt up on entry and he crashed, and here's the crash. And he crashed. But then once he realized he was still alive, miraculously, he got to work pretty quickly to get the gold out of the sea. It didn't work because it's too hard to get it out of the salt water. So he had to go, and there's Enki there. He had to go to the place where the gold was in the most abundance, which was the Absu in South Africa. And here we see the representation of the above ground gold mines digging into the earth, and down here are the underground gold mines, because he did both sorts of gold mining. There's a lot more to this story, but that's a good start on tablet 1377 from the British Museum. If anyone would like to try and interpret this in some sort of script, I'd be happy to see it, because this is a pictogram, as most of the tablets are, unless they're written in Akkadian, which is close to Babylonian. That seems like a proper script, but most of the tablets are actually pictorial, like this one. Thank you.